Well, that brings us to the camaraderie question of the week. And there's a theme here, my friend.
Woo.
It all lines up. Our camaraderie question of the week. Remember, bosses build camaraderie on teams by making it easier for people to find things in common with each other. Every week, we give you a question you can use at meetings to facilitate connection and build camaraderie. So our question this week, in alignment with our theme, Alyssa, what is the longest amount of time you've ever stuck to a New Year's resolution? What was it, and for how long?
Well, I kind of gave this away already, that I don't really do them anymore. But
Well, you
I
said
will
anymore.
Right. I will say the longest period of time that I have successfully this is going to sound horrible as a coach, but I'm human, man. That I have inhabited a habit, right, is from, let's see, it'll be 2 years now, right, that I've had my writing habit.
Okay.
That I am a writer. So that is the longest period of time in which I can claim that I initiated an activity and I have kept it going for myself.
That's fantastic. And that's not a traditional New Year's resolution, but it is something that you aspired to, that you set out to do. It was a change that you wanted to pursue, that you knew was in service both to yourself and to the people around you and that are important to you.
Yeah.
And so it has not ended yet. You're on a streak.
I am. What about you, Joe? What's your streak? I mean, you are still a powerhouse. I mean, you did your whole quarantine. I mean, for goodness sake, you were on GMA, the whole thing. You're famous, for your kind of commitment to these things. So tell me about your resolutions.
If you are on Facebook, you know that Facebook has a tool or a feature called Facebook Memories. Where it shows you what you posted that day.
Yeah.
Each of the past couple of years. And if you've been on Facebook for 12, 13 years, like I have, you've entered the stage where past pronouncements on Facebook come back to haunt you throughout times of the year. So after New Year, I saw all of the posts that I had made in recent years, all the pronouncements that I had made about the massive changes I was pursuing. I had posted some things related to giving up sweets and to running certain distances. And in most cases, I did not see those through. There was one, though, that I did sustain for quite a while. I gave up soda for about 150 days a couple of years ago. And now let me be regionally inclusive. Because where I'm from, it's pop. Right?
Okay,
we live in Western Pennsylvania. People say pop.
Yes.
Some people say soda. So let me say it like this. I gave up soda pop for 150 days. This was just 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And I was traveling a lot for work. And that was hard because there were days at the airport or, moving from place to place where you're kind of surrounded by the sights and sounds. And if, there's a reason Coca-Cola airs ads pouring the cold, fuzzy goodness over top of the glass of freezing cold ice, right? There's a sensory, make your mouth water kind of appeal to it. And as time went on, it was getting harder and harder for me to stick to it. And then it was a random day in May. It was right around Memorial Day, I think. And this was before the pandemic. It was a couple years ago. And we were having a family gathering and we put a bunch of stuff out for everybody. And I saw soda and I was like, yeah, I'm having that. And that was it.
I'm done now. I am done.
The willpower had eroded at that point.
I think that's interesting, in terms of what the cutoff is. Because I talked about with trying to find the motivation to start something, it equally on the other side of things, when you want to stop something, or break a habit or something of that kind, there is this going off the cliff
Mhm.
like what it might mean if you have that first drop,
Yes.
right? Were there any thoughts of, I take this and it's all over
Yes,
forever? I'm going.
absolutely.
Okay.
It was the purity of the streak that was the only
Mm.
thing that was keeping me going. And I find that, that is a big thing for me. If I commit to something and I've strung together some time on it,
Okay.
it's almost not the benefits I'm supposedly getting from the new behavior. It's the purity of the streak. Last year, before I started on some success with some better eating and weight loss habits, I was tracking all of my food in a food log app on my phone.
Uh-huh.
And my wife and I went on vacation for a couple days with another couple, and I decided that week I wasn't going to hold myself to such a high standard. It was a vacation, and that I let myself off the hook with logging that. And as soon as that streak of days of logging was gone, the momentum that I had was gone. And so
Mm.
back in March, when we started quarantine, and I decided to recommit myself to some daily habits in the interest of my health, the first daily habit that became an unbreakable commitment for me was logging my food.
Mm.
And today is the 322nd day of logging that food. And because I know that if I break that streak, there's something about my psyche that it will be 10 times as hard to get the momentum back if I do that.
Kudos to you and congratulations on your streak. And that is a testament to what it takes to continue that momentum for each one of us is
Mm,
so different and so requiring of that individual ability to determine what serves you so that you can serve others.
absolutely. And I love that our entire conversation today so far has been themed entirely around the idea of habits, right? And it reminds me of a fantastic book. Many folks have read. You talk about Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another terrific book is called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And so we will link both of those books in the show notes on the Boss Better Now podcast webpage. That'll be over at bossbetternowpodcast.com. And that, folks, is the camaraderie question of the week.